How are you doing? It's Colin Daniel here from riffninja.com. Well, today I'm in the mood to answer some questions from my students, and this is what I've been doing. Been on a roll with that. And this question comes from Dr. Love. And I thought I was Dr. Love. No, I guess this guy's Dr. Love. He's got the name. I don't got the name. I got the reputation, but not the name, right? And his question is, how to keep other strings quiet. It's about muting, right? Well, Mr. Love, Dr. Love, need to get these fingers working for you. There's a lot of tricks. There's no right or wrong way. There's no one practice technique that will develop this. It's an age-old problem, especially with amplified guitars. Acoustic guitars in particular, they like to feed back more than even electric guitars do. So there's always an issue, and some notes sympathetically vibrate. Like when you're playing, you play some open strings, you find other strings to start to vibrate, even though you don't want them to. And there's no law, no rule that says you have to mute a certain way. But the number one mute is this right hand. If it's your left hand you strum with and you're left-handed, then it'd be the left hand. But it's the edge of the palm. And I've always got, if you watch when I'm playing any of my lessons, I've always got this palm sitting like, this is the bridge here. Depending on the type of guitar you have, you'll have a different style of bridge for the guitar, right? Well, I'm right in front of it where the strings vibrate so that I can control my strings so I can kill them when I need to. Yeah, it's a real problem when you get distortion and you play heavier music. That can be a real issue to controlling the notes. But the palm is the first place to start. Some guys brace their pinky up against the pick guard here, and that helps them kind of keep their hand. My hand's on a bit of an angle. It depends on how you pick too. But you'll always see my palm sitting by the guitar. Even for clean sounds on the guitar, I still actually mute just ever so gently in between chord changes. You'll watch every time when I'm doing these changes, it's out of habit, right? You get into the habit of doing. I also use the palm mute for rhythmic structure. You can create space. Now, you'll notice on this one I'm using both. On this particular trick, I'm using the right hand edge here, and the left hand I'm actually lifting up the bar. Watch. So it's a combination now of my left hand muting some strings at the bar and my right hand making sure that I definitely get the mute. But here I've got the palm off of my guitar and I've got a chord that's ready to go down, the A minor chord, but I've got the strings just with my fingers. I'm just touching the strings. But I still get a little ring off from it. And if I really want to kill it, I use the left hand mute here by lifting off the strings and my right hand together. You know, for a lot of reggae moves. That's an important move for you there. So I'm using both the left-handed and the right hand to create a certain sound. When I'm playing distorted single lines, like really fast shred lines, and you have to practice with your distortion. And for me, like doing these video recordings here, I have to keep it really quiet. I don't really like that because I'm a loud guitar player and I like to play at full meal deal, full bore, because I like to practice controlling my guitar when it's really alive. I like the guitar really alive, like to the point of where if you let go of the strings, it feeds back and squeals immediately. Now that takes some technique. I learned that from watching Jimi Hendrix He was one of the kings of that. Stevie Ray Vaughan was really good at it too, but Jimi Hendrix, wow, he could really control the feedback with his hands and with his body. He would use his physical body to put himself in between the amp and the guitar, and that would control. But that's another issue all on its own. For this particular movement where I'm doing a chromatic scale and they're fast notes, I'm actually heavily muting with my right palm. You can hear it. Right? I'm heavily muting it with my right hand palm, but I also mute with my left hand. If I want to play open, like more open and not use the muted stroke, when I'm doing that, I actually use the left hand fingers on my last note. As I pass over, you can hear what I did. You'll hear some others. Listen. Hear that? I didn't strike those strings. They were vibrating sympathetically. Listen again. Those strings, if I don't keep my fingers down, so I use my right hand and my left hand on this, right? Sometimes depending on what I need to do, because for my speedier riffs, I need to use my fingertips. For more my blues licks, that kind of a thing, I'd use more the flats of my fingers. But either way, I'm muting with my left hand and my right hand here. On my left hand, as I get to the last string, at the last note of a certain string, like say I'm on my 6th string here, and I get up to the last note, just as I'm lifting my hand, I catch it with my finger just to kill the string, and then I move to the next string, lift my hand up, catch it. So every time, along with my right hand here, palm, I'm also muting to make sure those notes, but it's done in like a split second. Just as I lift the notes off the string, I just kill it for that 1 second. So there's some tips. Keep in touch if you want to know more. You should check out my site, riffninja.com. There's a lot of very involved, very detailed lessons. I've gone through a lot of trouble to put that together for all of you that want to learn to play. So that's at riffninja.com. And don't forget to subscribe too. And thanks a lot for your response. Appreciate it very much. The response is welcome. Keep it coming. And I'll keep the lessons coming, and I'll keep answering your questions. Take care.